Sadly, y'all, I know a lot of y'all are not going to expect me, of all people, to say this about Sony because my channel is 99% me shooting off at Sony, talking shit about them, right? So you're going to be like, oh, he's not going to say anything nice about him. He's got nothing nice to say about Sony. Hold up. I used to really like Sony back in the day when they were the PS2 and even the PS1. The PS1 introduced me to Metal Gear Solid Fuck Konami. Introduced me to Silent Hill Fuck Konami. It introduced me to Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. These are all games that I even play today. Games that I still own right now that if I went up to my room and pulled out all my PlayStation 1 games to show off, they would all be right here in front of me. Okay? My PS2 collection, which I've showed off on this channel, I still play from time to time. Okay? So I used to really like Sony, and I know that's hard to believe coming from a guy who screams fuck PlayStation a lot in his videos. But here's the thing. I don't scream fuck PlayStation to down PlayStation. I scream fuck PlayStation hoping they'll get their shit together. Okay? I'm hoping they'll hear me saying this so they'll get their act together. Okay? The reason I say that is because my problem with the PS4 should be everybody's problem with the PS4. It wants to be the PS2 so bad, but it'll never be the PlayStation 2. The PS3 couldn't be the PS2, and it almost should have been. The PS4 can't even be the PS2, and it more than likely has the most potential to be. That's the biggest fucking problem I have with it. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. The PS4 makes regularly available Blu-ray technology at an affordable price. And Blu-ray is now like DVD was back during the PS2 time. The cheapest way to afford this shit. If you can't afford a Blu-ray player, which is insane to say at this point, then a PS4 is the way to go. Okay? And here's the thing. The price tag is not that expensive. Unlike the PS3, which, sorry Sony, you did fuck yourself there. But PS4 didn't come out swinging with a $700-800 price tag. They came out with a fairly decent, easily attainable price tag. I afford it, and I have a shit job. Okay? So, it's regular. You can afford it, trust me. Now, that being said, I need you to understand the reason I say the PS4 should be easily as successful as the PS2, but it won't happen, is because the PS2 focused a shit ton more on, pardon me, games. Not just games in general, but AAA quality, quantity equally. And they also had something that the PS4 just doesn't have. Within quality and quantity being the same fucking thing, there's one thing that the PS2 had. It's a word that starts with R. Their games had replay value. A lot of the PS2 games you could play 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and still play. There are people who to this very day still play Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy 12. Those type of games are not the type of entertainment we see on the PS4. We get rehashed dummied down, watered down versions of the games we really want on the PS4. I've said this about Drive Club. It's a bastard version of Gran Turismo. When PS4 people really want Gran Turismo, you can't deny that. People have been asking for Gran Turismo since the PS4 came out, and PlayStation has legitimately been like this to you, Sony fans, since you've been asking for it. They've just been like, no. You still want Gran Turismo? Here's Drive Club. You still want Gran Turismo? That's basically what they're doing. They gave you Bloodborne, which is a fucking bastard offspring of Dark Souls when you have 3 Dark Souls. They're porting a lot of games that are not even a generation old. They're just rehashing everything when they could take the time to create something new. They're not even trying anymore, which is why the PS4 is destined to not only fail, but to be forgotten. And that's a fucking shame, because it's got the most potential to be as good, if not even better, than the PS2 was. Because the PS4 has an online market. The PS4 is actually ready to go online. The PS2 was a stepping stone to get there. And the PS4 is there. But instead of Sony taking full advantage of this, they dicked around with the PS3, lost a shitload of money from stupid fucking mistakes, and they can't do anything. And it's a fucking shame. It's a real fucking shame. We have to sit back and watch as something that has so much potential is left to just be what it is. And I could flip it over and say the same exact shit for the Xbox One coming off of the 360. Because if Xbox does come out with another generation, it would probably do the same exact thing. It would sell just as well as the PS4 did, but coming off of the Xbox One, they would not be able to do anything with the damn thing because they have no money. Because this generation just is done so piss poor. It's the same song and dance on both sides. And it's a fucking shame. I know Phil's trying so hard to fix it right now, but can you really? After canceling a game like Scalebound that all Xbox heads were really looking forward to, and telling them to go out and buy Halo Wars 2 and Just Cause 3? Can you really repair that by saying go buy shooters when they were wanting an RPG? That doesn't sound like something that's plausible at this point. And the PS4, everybody was hoping this was going to be the system to surpass the PS2. And Sony has just sat back, looking on at numbers and giving you nothing for it, other than excuse after excuse after excuse on why it can't be. Oh, it's just better for this generation if we charge you for online. Why? Why is it better? Are you going to offer anything? Do you offer anything? Well, it's just better. What kind of bullshit ass excuse is that? I mean, fuck, just piss in our cereal, shit in our chocolate milk, and, just ram us with a fucking spiked dildo and say, please, sir, may I have fuck another? Because that's what you're doing to your customer base by offering us jag dick. Okay? We see little to no effort. And then the games that we do see that we really hope for turn out to be No Man's Sky. A disaster of a game. or they end up in development hell for years on end. And then we get them and they're just, oh, they should have just ended up on the PS3 where they should have been the whole fucking time. It's really a fucking shame. PS4 has so much potential. So much untapped potential. And it could have been, should be, way more successful than it already is. And sad to say that by the end of its lifetime, it should have done 2 to 3 more fold than it will have done. But it won't, due to the way Sony has handled it coming off of the PS3. It's just because of that shit alone. Think about that. Off of that shit alone. And when you think about that, when you put that kind of thought in your head, how can you really be happy with the way this shit has turned out? I mean, okay, you got what? Knack? 2 buttons to attack and jump. 2 fucking buttons. You were so hype over this controller. One of your launch games doesn't even utilize the fucking controller. Guerrilla Games comes out with Killzone Shadowfall, one of the most sluggish fucking games I've ever seen in my life, next to Young Justice and Brink of last gen. But it's a beautiful game. Like, graphically, you can just look around and it's stunning, which is better than playing the fucking thing. You have Destiny, which is fucking horrible until you get to the Taken King update. You have Infamous Second Son. If it hadn't been for Infamous Second Son, I don't think you would even know that controller can do everything it can do, because there's not anything until that game that comes out that utilizes your controller to its fullest potential. And that's just fucked up. Think about that. Think about all the games at launch. All of them. Think of all of them. Then think of how long it took for Second Son to come out. Now think about everything you can do with that controller for Second Son. I've played it. Haven't beat it, but I've played it. Think of everything you can do in Second Son with that controller. Now think of another game that can do exactly everything Second Son can do with its controller. There's literally not one. It's fucking sad. There's so much untapped potential in this system, between the controller and the system, that you're just not using that. It really is going to go down as the PlayStation 4 should have been the PS2 successor. But you pissed around the PS3. You dicked around so much. This is what we got. And that's a fucking shame.